Question 6. A data analytics company measures what the consumers watch and what advertising they're exposed to. This real time data is ingested into its on premises data center, and subsequently, the daily data feed is compressed into a single file and uploaded on Amazon S3 for backup. The typical compressed file size is around 2 gigabytes. Which of the following is the fastest way to upload the daily compressed file into S3? The options are: A. Upload the compressed file using multi-part upload with S3 transfer acceleration B. Upload the compressed file using multi-part upload C. Upload the compressed file in a single operation D. FTP the compressed file into an EC2 instance that runs in the same region as the S3 bucket. Then transfer the file from the EC2 instance into the S3 bucket. This question asks for the fastest upload method to get a 2 gigabyte file from an on-premises data center to Amazon S3. Think of it as, how can I maximize upload speed and minimize upload time for a large file being sent over the internet to S3? The correct answer is A. Upload the compressed file using multi-part upload with S3 transfer acceleration. Combining multi-part upload with S3 transfer acceleration provides the fastest upload performance by leveraging two powerful S3 features together. Multi-part upload splits the 2 gigabytes file into smaller parts, typically 5 to 10 megabyte each, and uploads them in parallel over multiple HTTP connections, which dramatically improves throughput and overcomes single connection TCP bandwidth limits. Why the other options are incorrect? Multi-part upload alone, B, improves throughput by parallel uploads but doesn't reduce network latency. It's faster than single part, but not as fast as combining it with transfer acceleration. Single operation upload, C, uses only one HTTP connection and cannot fully utilize available bandwidth due to TCP throughput limits. This is the slowest method. FTP to EC2, then transfer to S3, D, adds unnecessary complexity, extra steps, additional network hops, and doesn't provide any speed advantage. It's slower and more cumbersome than direct S3 upload with multi-part and acceleration. Quick memory tip. Think. Multi-part equals parallel upload plus transfer acceleration, fast global routing, fastest combo. For speed, multi-part S3A 61% faster. If this video is helping you, support us by hitting the like button, and don't forget to subscribe for more content like this. Question 7. A company manages a multi-tier social media application that runs on EC2 instances behind an application load balancer. The instances run in an EC2 auto-scaling group across multiple availability zones and use an Amazon Aurora database. As a solutions architect, you have been tasked to make the application more resilient to periodic spikes in request rates. Which of the following solutions would you recommend for the given use case? Select 2. The options are A. Use CloudFront distribution in front of the application load balancer. B. Use AWS Shield. C. Use AWS Global Accelerator. D. Use AWS Direct Connect. E. Use Aurora Replica. This question asks how to make a social media application more resilient when it experiences sudden traffic spikes, like when a post goes viral. Think of it as, how do I protect my application's front-end web layer and back-end database layer from being overwhelmed during traffic surges? The correct answer, A. Use CloudFront distribution in front of the application load balancer. E. Use Aurora Replica CloudFront distribution in front of the ALB improves resilience during traffic spikes by caching static and dynamic content at AWS edge locations globally, which reduces the number of requests reaching your application load balancer and EC2 instances. CloudFront also collapses simultaneous requests for the same content before forwarding to the origin, provides faster TLS negotiation for distant users, and uses AWS's optimized backbone network for routing, significantly reducing load and improving performance during traffic surges. Aurora replicas allow you to scale read operations by distributing read traffic across up to 15 read replicas, which handle queries like fetching user profiles, posts, comments, and feeds, common in social media applications. Why the other options are incorrect? AWS Shield provides DDoS protection, defending against malicious attacks, but the question asks about handling legitimate periodic traffic spikes, not attacks. Shield doesn't improve application capacity or resilience to normal traffic surges. AWS Global Accelerator improves global routing and availability by directing traffic through AWS edge locations, but it doesn't cache content or reduce load like CloudFront does. It's better suited for non-HTTP traffic or when you need static IP addresses. AWS Direct Connect is a dedicated private network connection between on premises data centers and AWS. It's for hybrid architecture connectivity, not for handling public internet traffic spikes to a social media application. Quick memory tip: think CloudFront caches content, reduces load, plus Aurora replicas equals scales reads, protects DB. For traffic spikes, cache at edge, scale database reads. Question 8. An IT company wants to review its security best practices after an incident was reported where a new developer on the team was assigned full access to DynamoDB. The developer accidentally deleted a couple of tables from the production environment while building out a new feature. Which is the most effective way to address this issue so that such incidents do not recur? The options are: A. Use permissions boundary to control the maximum permissions employees can grant to the IAM principals. B. The CTO should review the permissions for each new developer's IAM user so that such incidents don't recur. C. Only root user should have full database access in the organization. D. Remove full database access for all IAM users in the organization. This question asks how to prevent privilege escalation where someone, like a team lead or admin, accidentally grants excessive permissions to new developers or other users. Think of it as, how do I make sure that even if someone tries to give a developer full DynamoDB access, AWS automatically blocks it because it exceeds the allowed limits? The correct answer is A. Use permissions boundary to control the maximum permissions employees can grant to the IAM principals. An IAM permissions boundary is an advanced IAM feature that sets the maximum permissions an IAM user or role can have, regardless of what other policies are attached to them. The predominant use case for permissions boundaries is to prevent privilege escalation by ensuring that when admins or developers create new IAM roles or users, those principals cannot exceed a predefined set of permissions, even if someone tries to attach overly permissive policies. Why the other options are incorrect? The CTO reviewing permissions manually for each new developer is impractical, doesn't scale, introduces human error and delays, and doesn't prevent privilege escalation programmatically. It's reactive and inefficient. Only root user having full database access violates AWS security best practices. The root user should rarely be used, and certainly not for day-to-day database operations. This doesn't address the core issue of delegated admin permissions. Removing full database access for all IAM users is too restrictive and doesn't solve the delegation problem. Some users, like DBAs or senior engineers, may legitimately need elevated access to specific resources. The issue is controlling what permissions can be delegated, not eliminating all elevated access. Quick memory tip: think permissions boundary equals maximum permission ceiling. Boundary prevents privilege escalation, even if someone tries to grant full access. Question 9. A gaming company is developing a mobile game that streams score updates to a back-end processor and then publishes results on a leaderboard. The company has hired you as an AWS Certified Solutions Architect Associate to design a solution that can handle major traffic spikes, process the mobile game updates in the order of receipt, and store the processed updates in a highly available database. The company wants to minimize the management overhead required to maintain the solution. Which of the following will you recommend to meet these requirements? The options are: A. Push score updates to Kinesis data streams, which uses a Lambda function to process these updates and then store these processed updates in DynamoDB. B. Push score updates to an SQS queue, which uses a fleet of EC2 instances with auto-scaling to process these updates in the SQS queue, and then store these processed updates in an RDS MySQL database. C. Push score updates to Kinesis data streams, which uses a fleet of EC2 instances with auto-scaling to process the updates in Kinesis data streams and then store these processed updates in DynamoDB. D. Push score updates to an SNS topic, subscribe a Lambda function to this SNS topic to process the updates, and then store these processed updates in a SQL database running on Amazon EC2. This question asks for a solution that meets 3 key requirements: handles traffic spikes, processes data in order, and requires minimal management overhead. Think of it as, what AWS services automatically scale, guarantee order, and require no server management for a gaming leaderboard? Correct answer: A. Push score updates to Kinesis data streams, which uses a Lambda function to process these updates, and then store these processed updates in DynamoDB. Amazon Kinesis Data Streams is designed for real-time streaming data ingestion at massive scale, handling millions of events per second during traffic spikes. It preserves the order of records at the shard level. When you use a consistent partition key, like player ID, all updates for that player are processed in the exact order they were received. AWS Lambda automatically processes stream records from Kinesis with zero infrastructure management, no servers to provision, patch, or scale manually. Lambda scales instantly to handle 10x to 50x traffic spikes, processing thousands of concurrent events without any configuration changes. This dramatically reduces management overhead compared to managing EC2 fleets. Amazon DynamoDB provides a highly available, fully managed NoSQL database with automatic scaling, single-digit millisecond latency, and built-in replication across multiple availability zones. It's ideal for leaderboard data that requires fast writes and reads with flexible schema design. Together, this architecture is fully serverless, meaning no server management, automatic scaling, and pay-per-use pricing, minimizing both operational overhead and cost. Why the other options are incorrect. Option B, SQS plus EC2 plus RDS MySQL. Standard SQS queues do not guarantee order, only SQS FIFO does, but with lower throughput limits. EC2 instances with auto-scaling require significant management overhead, patching, monitoring, scaling configuration. RDS MySQL also requires more management than DynamoDB and may not handle high write throughput as efficiently for leaderboard updates. Option C, Kinesis plus EC2 plus DynamoDB. While Kinesis and DynamoDB are good choices, using EC2 instances instead of Lambda significantly increases management overhead. You must manage server provisioning, patching, scaling policies, and availability, which violates the minimize management overhead requirement. Option D, SNS plus Lambda SQL on EC2. SNS is a pub/sub messaging service that does not guarantee message ordering. It's designed for fan-out notifications, not ordered stream processing. Additionally, running a SQL database on EC2 requires heavy management, database installation, backups, high availability setup, and is not suitable for high-throughput gaming leaderboards. Quick memory tip. Think. Kinesis equals ordered streaming plus Lambda equals zero management plus DynamoDB equals fast and scalable DB. Gaming leaderboard equals Kinesis Lambda plus DynamoDB, fully serverless. To get the free PDF or mock test, comment PDF or mock or both. I will share the downloadable link within the next 24 hours. Question 10. The development team at an e-commerce startup has set up multiple microservices running on EC2 instances under an application load balancer. The team wants to route traffic to multiple backend services based on the URL path of the HTTP header. So it wants requests for https:/.example.com/orders to go to a specific microservice and requests for http://example.com/products to go to another microservice. Which of the following features of application load balancers can be used for this use case? The options are A, path-based routing, B, host-based routing, C, query string parameter-based routing, D, HTTP header-based routing. This question asks which ALB routing feature directs traffic to different backend services based on the URL path, like /orders or /products. Think of it as, how can one load balancer send requests to different microservices based on what comes after the domain name in the URL? Correct answer, A, path-based routing. Path-based routing, also called URL-based routing, is a unique feature of application load balancers that allows you to route incoming requests to different target groups based on the URL path in the HTTP request. You configure listener rules in the ALB that inspect the path portion of the URL, the part after the domain name, like /orders or /products, and forward requests to the appropriate backend service or target group. Why the other options are incorrect. Host-based routing, B, routes traffic based on the host name in the HTTP header, e.g. orders.example.com versus products.example.com, not the URL path. This would require different subdomains for each microservice. Query string parameter-based routing, C, routes traffic based on query parameters in the URL, e.g. service equals orders, not the path itself. While ALB supports this, it's not what the question describes. HTTP header-based routing, D, routes traffic based on custom HTTP headers sent in the request, e.g. a custom header like xservice orders, not the URL path. Quick memory tip, think path-based routing equals route by URL path, example.com/orders versus wexample.com/products, path and URL-based routing.